Hello, welcome to A VO's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica, and this show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. Welcome. It is Tuesday, June 16th. We are halfway through June. It's crazy. Time is flying by. We are in summer and moving forward. Hopefully you caught the video we put out yesterday, or I put out yesterday, asking an important question about, or that was a podcast I did yesterday about oversaturation in the VO market. So that was a really good podcast. And we also put out a video yesterday too. But today I've got an exciting topic, and hopefully you saw it, called Fool's Gold. Do not be deceived. And I'm excited about this topic because, I see as we go through, another month and more people join this wonderful voiceover industry, and more of us are trying to grow our businesses and do all these sorts of things. I see a lot of, bait being thrown out there, especially by bigger companies like, pay-to-play sites or freelance sites or whatever other places are trying to get your business. And, I called this episode today Fool's Gold because, if you don't know just the etymology of Fool's Gold, it comes from, iron pyrite, but it got its name, during the gold rush, and where people would find what they thought was gold and hit the mother lode, but it turned out to be iron pyrite, and so it became known as Fool's Gold. But the idea here is that I see a lot of information being thrown at people about how to get work, where they need to be, where the best place is to get work from someone, or to get work from businesses as a voiceover artist. And I wanted to do today's episode because I want to just clarify, and I think I've done this a lot, but I want to clarify the main thing that all of us must do to get business. The number one thing. That's it. The number one thing that we must do to get business. All right? That's not fool's gold. That's not a scam. It's not fake. The number one thing that we have to do to get work is to get in front of more eyeballs. That is it. That is what we have to do. We have to get in front of more people. All right? Don't be deceived by, places claiming that, they're going to, send you X amount of auditions or these, et cetera, this and that. All right. Don't be fooled by that. Look at what the place is offering. Look at these websites. Look at your own website. Look at the internet and ask yourself, where can I get the most exposure? Okay, where can I get the biggest bang for my buck, if you will? All right, if I'm going to spend $500, what is that $500 going to get me? And right now let's talk about voices.com. All right, pay to play site. If I spend $500, okay, to get onto their site, and for that $500, you're listed on their site and you get to have a profile and put up your samples. And the idea behind that site is, using their algorithm, they will send you auditions based on how you match up to this work that comes to their site that they go out and actively market for and find. All right. Now, if you have been on that site for any period of time, you know that you do get emails and jobs. And if you audition, right, you are going to audition for a person or a company. And, that's all great, right? That's good. So let's say in a month that you audition. Let's say you really go after it, right? And you're auditioning we'll do it this way. Let's say you're auditioning, I don't know, maybe you're auditioning 30 times a week. Okay. And so over a month's period of time, that's what, 120. If we do, 5 let's see, if you, I got it to 30 a week, right? So 150, right? 150 auditions a month, okay? Now, 1-to-1, and this is what I want to talk to you about, 1-to-1, you are auditioning for 100, you do 150 auditions. That's 150 auditions that is seen by one person or one entity, right? At least we can say, meaning that when you audition for one person. And as you audition for them, okay, you have the opportunity of being listened to. However, there's a lot of times, and I don't have the exact numbers because they don't publish it, but you could do your own numbers based on, whether you see that it's been listened to or not, how many times you actually get listened to from those auditions. But here's the rub. When you do an audition, right, on these sites, you do 150. Let's just be generous and say 50% listen to it. Because remember, they're not just sending it out to you. They're sending it out to hundreds and hundreds of people per job. Okay. So let's say 50% of that. So let's say 75 people or businesses, okay, heard your audition. And let's say that out of 75, that's out of a month. So 75 people out of a month. I want to ask you, does 75 people in a month, okay, and let's be honest about numbers, right? I mean, the reality is you're not going to get, I think if you were to get 1% of that work, right, out of 75 people you audition for, that's amazing numbers. I mean, honestly, it is, right? 1% of that work would be amazing numbers, all right? And I hate to say the math, but I mean, 1% of 100, right, is 1. So, I mean, you're still taking a chance that's like 0.02 or something that you're going to get a job, okay? So here's the deal. Is 75 people, and by the way, that's being like overly generous. I would assume it's more like you probably would get 50 people to listen to you. That's really being over generous. So here's what I'm trying to get at. Do you feel that you can build a sustainable business by only getting in front of 50 people a month and then possibly with a 0.001 chance of getting hired out of those 50? So it's going to be luck if you even get hired, all right, in a month. All right, it'll probably take you, 3-4 months. Is there going to be outliers? Sure. You're going to have people say, I audition and every 5th audition I get a job. That's wonderful. But the majority, that is not what happens to us. And you can ask, I know people here, I'm sure in the group, who can talk about that. Now, I didn't do this episode to downplay or berate, berate voices.com. And I don't mean that. What I'm trying to say is that voices.com should be just one link in your chain. One link in your chain. You have to get as much exposure as possible. You're paying voices.com to go out and get business and then send you business that they think matches your profile with the words you used, okay? And then from that, you have to compete, as we call a cattle call, against hundreds of other people in that same thing. And oftentimes it's thousands, right? By the time it gets to you, I know for me, and I also think about Voice 123, they kind of show you, sometimes Voice 123 will show you where you got you're like 1,700 on the, 1,700, even you're the 1,701 who got the message, all right? And so what I'm getting with this is that, again, exposure is everything. So when you take a look at these sites and you're just starting out, or even if you're not starting out and you're wondering, man, what pay-to-play site do I need to be on? Just be aware that being on a pay-to-play site does not ensure that you are going to get any business. Now, you could still make the argument being on a freelance site that's not a pay-to-play doesn't mean you're going to get business, and that's absolutely true too. But if you look at the numbers, all right, and you really truly want to build a business, not a hobby, but you want to build a sustainable business, okay, you have got to utilize every avenue you have to get in front of as many eyeballs as possible. And in this particular case, one platform that you spend this money on is not enough, not nearly enough. And on top of that, a 1-to-1 ratio is not going to work in your favor. What do I mean by 1-to-1? That means if I audition for you, that's 1-to-1. You're the only one who's going to see it, and you might not see it. I have a 30 to 40% chance that you'll see it because you got 100 other ones and you don't have time to look. You don't have time to listen to 100. You listen to the first 3 to 5 and you find the one you want. Okay, we know this to be true. We know people are not listening to maybe someone goes and listens to 100, but we know that is not happening. Okay, so there's that. The 1-to-1 is not a way to leverage your time effectively. All right. So because of that, we have to find a way to do like 1 to 100. Right? How can I do one thing and have 100 people see it? How can I do one thing and have 1,000 people see it? As opposed to how can I do one thing and have one person see it? That is just impossible for freelancers, business owners. We're small business owners. We are. But most of us are one person doing this. How does one person compete against teams of people with hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars to pour into marketing in order to get in front of more people than us? Well, we have to leverage that. We've got to leverage that. And the way to leverage that is by not just being on voices.com, not just being on Voice123, but also being on freelance sites like Upwork, like Fiverr, like People Per Hour, like, Bulldogo or, like whatever freelancer, whatever all these other sites are. Okay, Voquint, all of these places, right? You have to first, that's what you've got to do. You've got to get in front of places that are going to market you and you have multiple chances to be seen. Because if you don't, you are going to work so hard and you are going to see other people getting success, and you're going to look at their body of work. Tell me if this hasn't happened to you. This might have. You look at their body of work, you look at your body of work and you think, man, I'm just as good. In some cases, I'm better. Why are they getting tons of work and I'm not? Okay? If you've asked yourself this question, the answer could possibly be they are having way more exposure than you are. Their exposure to more people than you are. So if all things, again, being equal, if you and I are competing or you and I are both starting our business at the same time. Now I want to ask you this, honestly. Think about it. If you and I are starting our business at the same time, we both start with nothing. All right? And both of us have pretty much the same amount of talent level. We both do the same. Everything is the same equipment, everything. But after 3 years, I was able, and I'm just going to use big round numbers here. I was able to get my work, my samples and things in front of 10,000 people. And you were able to get your samples and things in front of 1 million people. Who do you think is going to have a better business at this point? I mean, clearly the person who is able to get their work in front of 1 million people. Now, we can argue about what people and are they vetted and everything. And yes, we understand all that. All right. But the idea here is you've got to get yourself in front of more eyeballs than the next guy or the next gal. And the first way you do that is by getting yourself on every single platform that allows you to be on there. Okay? Voices.com, if you can afford it, yes, you need to be on that platform. Voice123, if you can afford it, yes, you need to be on that platform. But Fiverr, yes, you need to be on that platform. Upwork, yes, you need to be on that platform. People Per Hour, yes, you need to be on that platform. Voquint, yes, you need to be on that platform. Bulldogo, yes, you need to be on that platform. The Voice Realm, yes, you need to be on that platform. All of these platforms, you need to be on all of them. Okay, don't listen to people telling you how bad one or the other is, all right? Because it doesn't matter. It matters about eyeballs seeing your business. And the more you can leverage your time, the more I can make 1 hour of my work time equal 100 work hours, the more successful I'm going to be. Our world right now is about leverage when it comes to business because we are one person. Okay, we are one person. How can we leverage our time the most effectively? Those who can figure out how to leverage better than other people will win. And in this day and age, social media is a huge leveraging tool. Okay. At the same time, the challenge with social media is being able to be consistent, cutting through the noise. The positive thing about these websites is that they're spending hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars to find the people to come to them who are looking for our services. So it helps to be in front of, on as many sites as you can, in front of as many people as you can, not just one place. Remember, 1-to-1 does us nothing. Okay, 1 to 100 sounds a lot better. 1 to 1,000 sounds a lot better. All right, I'll step off my stool and see if there's any questions or thoughts. All right, let's see what we got going on here. We've got Don from YouTube. What's up, my man? We've got Flyer here. Eric, how you doing, buddy? Sherry, good to have you. Sherry Walter, hello. Clint, hello. More lines in the water, the more fish you catch. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is so true. That is so true. But it's also like more lines in the water with multiple hooks on each line, right? I mean, the more opportunities you have. Okay. Let's see. I got lucky on Voice 123. However, it took me almost 200 auditions to get anything. Then suddenly get 4 wins in 2 months that paid for my year. Plus 2 of them became regulars. Nothing new since, though. That's awesome, Zach. Absolutely. That's awesome. And that's a good thing, right? We at least want our investment to be paid back. And, that's great. Getting those clients is a wonderful thing. And that's why I think that should be part of your strategy. But it cannot be the only part. Okay? You cannot let these, any site, forget voice.com, any Fiverr, any site. If Fiverr was to come out and tell you all you need to do to make it on in voiceover is to be on Fiverr, well, that's ridiculous. Okay, that's ridiculous. Now, that's coming from me, who makes probably the majority of my money, at least 75% of the bulk of my income of voiceover from Fiverr. I mean, it's true. Okay, just because I'm just so busy there, I don't have time for much else. I have personal clients. I get jobs from other sites. Voice Jungle is a great place. But, Fiverr does it. But if they came and said to you that, I'd say absolutely be on Fiverr. But that's not the only place you should be. We need to be on multiple sites. Tommy Grant, my friend. We went to middle school together and high school. Football teammate, mentor. Thank you, my friend. Walter says, I just completed an audiobook where the written words were, don't put your eggs in a basket. Laugh aloud. Of course, I narrated the actual saying properly. Don't put your eggs in a basket. So I know is right. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. And there's some people who will say, rich people like, Warren Buffett will say things, or people say, well, rich people say, that's the only way you can leverage is putting all of your eggs in one basket, right? And I think that if you think about it, okay, is maybe, I don't agree with that, actually. I don't. Because, again, that is referring to you being by yourself. You doubling down on... Now, I don't think there's any problem with doubling down on something. Like I did. I doubled down on Fiverr. But I did not stop doing other things. I did not stop putting myself on more sites, putting myself on more places, and getting more business. And by the way, here's another thing to be said. Just because you're on one website does not mean... Or just because you're on multiple websites, all right, and you don't get work on this one website does not mean people don't find you on that site and then find you on another site. This has happened to me over and over again. Do not get deceived by this. This is true. I've had multiple people find me on Voice123, find me on Voquent, and then go somewhere else and pay for my services. Okay? Now, do I think that has to do with money? Absolutely. Okay? Maybe they felt it was cheaper over here to work with me. Okay? Now, my prices are the same across the board unless the site that I'm on has their own prices that I cannot control. But if I control the prices on my website and on the sites where I control my prices, and it's the same. But I would rather have business than not have business. Okay? So anyways. Thank you, Walter. Tommy, I have a credit restoration service. Tommy Grant using my live group to put up a shameless link. It's all right. Facebook user, amen, cast the net wide. Absolutely. Facebook user, yep. Let's see. And I don't know. Sorry, I don't know the name. Clint, I did one audition on Voice123 and went on Fiverr and heard a demo of the same project on someone else's account. Okay. That's crazy. I'm not sure I understand. Like, it was the same person, or or someone took the demo or something, or I'm not sure what you mean by that. Facebook user, makes sense, Walter. Soapbox Tony, ladies and gentlemen. Soapbox Tony. That's right. Eric, didn't you publish a list of VO websites? Yes. If yes, please remind me where it is. You can. I posted a top 10 websites that I think you should at least be on, and that is on a VO's Journey blog. You just go to the link to the website will be down below, but that's on our blog. We have a very active blog, publish a couple of articles a week, and so you can go check it out there. Let's see. Frank says, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. What's up, Anthony? Yeah, that's true. Let's see. I love what Anthony Pica said the other day on the podcast. The market is oversaturated if you limit yourself to where you market yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. That's absolutely right. I mean, the idea that the market is not oversaturated is silly. There is tons of people coming into the voiceover market because equipment is not that expensive. You can record, anywhere. You can record from your home. You know what I mean? You can use things from your home to set up a fairly good sounding booth. All right. So it's not that hard. Everyone has a computer nowadays. So it's not that hard to get started. So of course, and everybody's been home for months. So of course the market is oversaturated. It was getting oversaturated before them, right? But the question is, again, is it oversaturated where there's actually business is concerned? See, look at it that way. If you are the person who is in one place, like only on voices.com, that's oversaturated, all right? That's cattle call mentality, meaning that's tons of people, hundreds and hundreds of people going for one job. All right. I would rather spend my time working a wide net where people have an opportunity to come to me. Because the more I put myself out there in front of more eyeballs, the more opportunities I have to leverage my time to continue to cast that net so more and more people come to me. I would rather people come to me than me having to go chase them all the time, right? If you got to go chase people all the time, you'll never know if you'll catch them. But if people come to you, all right, all you got to do is keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting out your samples. Keep joining sites. All right, keep putting down the work that actually leverages your time, not takes it away from you. Let's see. Clint says, different person, same project. Oh, that's wild. Frank says, what do you mean? What do you do when you have to record and you're totally exhausted? So Frank, the true answer is I've fallen asleep recording audiobooks. I have been sick in the morning at 3 a.m. recording because there was deadlines. And by the way, mostly this is audiobook talk. This is when I was building my business, and I'm still building it now, but I'm at a different phase in my business where I don't have to do what I did before. I could still do what I did before, but I don't anymore. I choose not to. But when I first started, there was times when I had, like, for example, when I was doing 10 or 12 books all at one time, that it was hard, especially when you had books that were 200, 300, 400,000 words, and you had deadlines, and the people were paying you for those deadlines. It was I can remember moments where I was so I would literally, it's funny what we say to ourselves when no one is watching, but I would say things like, this is it. This is what's going to make the difference in my business. I have to keep going. I mean, I don't know how good the books turned out, but I mean, there was times, man, when I was so exhausted, just reading and forcing myself, and, times, when you stay up too late too, and you get sick. I remember that. So, that's a reality. That's a reality. Is there actual like physical things you can do? Sure. So something that I did, this might help you actually. Something I did to keep myself less tired when I was recording was movement. So what I would do is, whether I was sitting down or standing up, I would record a page, and then I would go walk. I would get up and go walk for just get up and stretch and sit back down. I would do that for every single page. Okay. And because it just kept me not getting just, overdone. All right. You could adopt 2 pages or a chapter or something, but, physically move yourself when you remove yourself from the situation, walk around for a few seconds and come back and get started again. All right. Now, of course, there's all manner of caffeine and things, but I don't know if you were talking like actual tactics or philosophical. So I gave you both. Okay. Let's see. Frank says, me too. Let's see. Let's see. Anthony says, there you go, Anthony. Don't chase the business. Have the business come to you. Preach it. Absolutely. Thank you. Let's see. Facebook user says, thanks, Anthony Pica, for all your generous insights and encouragement. Thank you so much. Frank says, me too. Ben says, yep, have also fallen asleep editing e-learning into the early hours at the start of the journey. Yeah, absolutely. Out of bounds. Thanks for the VO's journey link above for top 10 sites. Top 10 sites, Walter. Did somebody link it above? Okay, we got to get a link to that. You know what? I'll put a link in the description too for that. I'll find it. Let's see. Too Rich, Too Mitch. What's up? Same here. Clint, is it true that coffee isn't good for VO? Well, Clint, I drink coffee all the time. Now, when I first started, okay, I heard everything, never drink coffee, never drink soda, just drink water, and just drink this and just drink that. And you know what I found? That it didn't matter because I was still having issues with mouth noise. I was still having issues. And then I realized, and I heard this, and it's the truth. Bill DeWeese, I watched the video or something from Bill DeWeese saying, I'm not a normal VO. I drink coffee all day while I narrate and stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, if he does that, why can't I? So I drink soda, I drink my coffee, I drink water. But another thing too is I tried all kinds of stuff out, like sucking on lemons, and when I was having mouth noise issues, I tried lozengers. The special lozengers that are supposed to help clicking and mouth noise. I did all of this stuff, and nothing seemed to work. And then I realized that, does some of it have to do with what you're drinking and stuff? Absolutely, sure, I guess. But in the end, I realized that the more I did voiceovers, the more I spoke out loud, actually the clicks started going away. I learned how to control it by doing more work, doing more talking, not being as clicky. And I think that's you just getting used to talking all the time. All right. And that's what helped change me. Are there still clicks? Sure. But that's why you have some really nice plugins too, that take care of that if you've got an issue. But I have very little issues anymore. And if I do, I literally use a plugin. And I don't even, but when I first started, man, it was like one of the number one issues I had, because it would take me hours to go through and edit all the clicks out. It was horrible. But then I found out it had to do with my microphones, and it had to do with all kinds of stuff. So, anyways, it's funny how our journey goes, which is why I do this too, to help people hopefully sidestep some of those crazy things that I had to go through. Laugh aloud. I need coffee to function, but I have to cut back on the creamer because that tends to get me a little congested. Fair enough. Pat Fraley's peanut butter technique. Interesting. I've not seen the peanut butter technique. I'll check that out. Anthony says, I think the mouth noise has a lot to do with the confidence issues more than anything else. Probably. Yeah. Frank, after I eat, I don't click as much. Weird. Well, I mean, the idea is that we click as much because of either the dryness in your mouth or whatever, and when you eat and stuff, and the saliva and the acidity and all of these things in your mouth, that's supposed to be neutralized, and you're supposed to have whatever. But here's the thing. I mean, I tried to do all the things. I didn't do the peanut butter thing, but I tried to eat an apple, do all kinds of stuff, and nothing ever seemed to work. It actually was worse for me when I did those things. The clicks seemed to get worse. So, after a while, it is about control. Absolutely. It's about control. I can raise and lower my cholesterol at will. This is like, what's his name? What's his name? The guy, Mark Twain, who said, I can quit smoking anytime. I've done it a million times before. I can quit anytime I want. I've done it a million times before. Ben Wake, it takes 4 to 8 hours for water to hydrate on a cellular level. Too rich to miss. What got rid of the mouth noise? RX-7, laugh out loud. So listen, I mean, I do, for me, I have the standard RX-7 from Isotope, not Elements. I bought the standard one, which has both has a DClicker, but the standard one has a mouth DClicker, which I didn't realize this, but the Elements DClicker is meant for a wider range of things, like almost clicking, from maybe old pops on records and things like that. But if you notice, it can really hurt it can really degrade your audio, chop off frequencies from words and things. So the DClicker on the Elements is not, I never used it because it was just too much. But after I got the mouth DClicker, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I mean, it costs more money. I mean, clearly the standard costs a lot more than Elements, but man, it's worth it because that mouth DClicker takes care of everything. I mean, it is what you would hope actually all the plugins do. So I absolutely love it. Now, I had gotten the standard version because I also edit people's audiobooks, and I master people's audiobooks too because I enjoy doing that as well, not just narrating. And it was helpful to offer those services to other people who had hours and hours of work that I couldn't go through hours and hours to listen and do every single click. So I was very happy about that. Let's see. Ben says your day's water hydrates you probably for the next day. Stretch your mouth by thinking you have peanut butter in it, and you have to clear your mouth because you're about to record live. Who makes the DClicker? It's Isotope. Izotope. Isotope. Yeah. All right, you guys. Hey, listen, I really enjoyed our conversation today. Thank you so much. Remember, don't be fooled by, one site or another site telling you that that's all you need to do. Okay? The name of the game is getting in front of more eyeballs. Getting in front of more eyeballs will help you get your work out there and leverage your time. We are only one person, most of us. We have a limited budget. And after working with a lot of people, I know most of the people I've worked with, I would say 95% don't spend any money on marketing. They don't spend any money on it, okay, other than maybe paying for a pay-to-play site. So remember, get on as many websites as you can. Okay, and we didn't get into social media or anything because that's some of the ultimate leverage. But in order to do that, I think it's not hard, but it's different. There's a branding. See, when you get on websites like voices.com or Fiverr or any of these sites, all right, especially the freelance websites. You don't have to brand yourself. You don't. You don't have to market yourself. The whole idea is you put yourself on these sites and they do all of the work for you. They brand their site. They market their work, right? And that's what we're either paying for, or that's what we're spending time getting, profile and letting the business go through them, and they charge us 20%. Okay, that's the work of these things. But when you do yourself and you go on social media and stuff, you have to brand yourself. And that's a lot more difficult, I think, for people, because most of us, the majority of us, are not trained in branding. We're not trained in how to do that. And there's a lot of people who begin to say, well, I don't like that word branding anymore. But forget that. Even if you don't use the word branding, it's more about, your reputation. It's more about you getting known. How do I know just because you posted buy from me that I could even trust you? Right? That's what a brand is. It's trust. And you only trust someone when you recognize them and you recognize what they stand for. And in order to recognize someone and recognize what they stand for on social media today, you got to put out a whole lot of content over a long period of time. I mean, I've been doing these videos. I've been putting out podcasts for years. Right. And there's still lots of people who've never heard of me before. More people, just tons. So, I mean, it is what it is. So that's why I think it's challenging, and we can go into social media later. But the websites are a great place, as many as you can to start. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. I will talk to you soon. By the way, if you haven't had a chance to check out, just a shameless plug about our Fiverr Elite group. It's a wonderful. We meet every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And our whole point of that group is to help each other grow our Fiverr businesses. I'm very excited. We had another member become a top-rated seller this past week. Congratulations to Scott. I don't know if he's watching, but he became a top-rated seller. So very excited for him. And we have multiple top-rated sellers in our group. And we do reviews and all that jazz. So it's a real exciting time. So anyways, you guys, thank you so much. You have a wonderful week. I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.